Welcome to the As Above, So Below podcast. My name is Andrew Swayze, and I'm joined here today with my co-host, Gunnar Regan. Our topic today is using reflection to building your best self. Gunnar's going to go ahead and start things off today. Gunnar, how do you use reflection to build your best self? What strategies do you use?
Thank you, Andrew. Self-reflection is a practice, and that's what I wanted to get into today. So building your best self can be challenging. We live in a world that is full of immediate results and convenience, and that leads to taking time for ourselves, sometimes feeling daunting or a big task, something that is going to require a lot of energy and a lot of thought. However, I want to present self-reflection in the simplest way possible. Something I aim to do every single day is look for an opportunity to be mindful for 5 seconds. That was 5 seconds. So in that 5 seconds, we can start to build a practice of mindfulness by asking ourselves a single question. And once you've decided that I'm going to invest this time back into me, the first question I would ask you, or you should ask yourself, is for what am I grateful? Right? In that 5 seconds, for what am I grateful? I can go, I'm grateful it's a nice day. Start simple. We're going to be able to immediately change our perspective and see things in a positive light. So for what am I grateful? That took 1 second to ask myself. I had 4 seconds to answer it. And I'm already in a more mindful place than I was when I started. So in the sense of building self-reflection and building yourself, all it takes is 5 seconds of being mindful about where you are, where you're going, how you're feeling, what you're grateful for. Other questions that I encourage you to ask yourselves at different times during the day. One of them being, do I give myself enough credit? I'm going to speak on my own behalf here. I am a really good shit talker to myself. A lot of times I hold in these negative thoughts and they start to bounce around in my head. If I'm going to practice this 5 seconds of mindfulness, do I give myself enough credit? I want to answer that saying, I don't give myself enough credit. And here's how I'm going to improve on that. I worked really hard this morning. I got up, I made the bed, I made breakfast, I ate breakfast, fueled myself so I can have a productive day. That alone is a huge step. And I want to give myself credit because when I do that, I'm going to build momentum towards my goals and towards my values. Another question is, how do I want the next hour to go? If you're short on time, you have that 5 seconds, you can set the tone in 5 seconds for the next hour of your day. Maybe you just came out of a stressful meeting. Maybe you just sat in traffic that you weren't expecting. But how do I want this next hour to go is a simple 5 second question. And you can go, I want this to be blank. Your choice. You get to choose the outcome. Finally, on this 5 seconds to mindfulness idea, another question I would ask is, what have I done well today? Maybe I tie my shoes really well. Best in the world, right? That's a win. You're going to start to see wins more often when you understand, all right, I'm doing things well. How can I build on that? I'm going to continue doing things well. And I'm going to build every single day because myself now is going to thank my future, or my future self is going to thank myself now for putting in the work in this 5 seconds of mindfulness. So those are some questions you can ask yourselves. However, these questions should be simple and non-judgmental. That's the difficult part of it. When we think of it, we want this opportunity to evaluate the situation and then move forward with a broader perspective. The intention behind self-reflection, our topic for today, is all about how can I move forward, taking in more information, believing in myself more, and having a better outcome. So with that, once you've mastered the 5 seconds of mindfulness, I would encourage everyone listening to start a journaling practice, because it's going to allow you to expand on that mindful moment, that 5 seconds. You can start writing out those questions, and you can write down the answers. In the practice of journaling, I'm not asking you to write paragraphs, novels, textbooks, right? It's not about the volume. It is about where you are now. And if that is 3 words, 1 word, that's fine. That is a journaling practice. So I encourage you to think, all right, I just asked myself a question. I answered it in 5 seconds, but I want to remember how that felt. Write it down. Journaling is all about expanding our perspective on where we've been, where we are now, and also where we want to go and how we want to get there. So one journal prompt that I use every single day is, today, this is mine to do, ... Nice little ellipses there to let my mind flow. Oftentimes when I write this, I'm sitting in my truck about to go into the gym, which is my place of work. So I'm sitting there. I can think back to myself. How many times have I done this before? How many times have I been successful in the little things in the gym? Maybe it's you're about to go into work. Maybe it's you're about to go home after work. How many times have I been successful here? And what is mine to do in this next moment, this next opportunity? Once you have those answers, you're already on your way to self-reflection. Next key to this is self-reflection is powerful when consistent. So you bought a journal, you wrote in it once, it gets buried in your backpack. You're no longer going to school, so you don't use your backpack. And then you see me or Andrew a couple months later and you go, I haven't been journaling. This is the key. How consistent can you make that 5-second mindfulness moment every day, and then start journaling as a practice of keeping track of your thoughts and allowing the progress to continue. So whether you're working towards your goals or you're in a stressful time, we can always regain control of ourselves or redirect ourselves on the path we want through questioning, like we talked so far. So a couple of the prompts, just to go over them again. Today, this is mine to do. For what am I grateful? Do I give myself enough credit? How do I want the next hour to go? And what have I done well today? In this practice, you're going to expand your thoughts. You're going to ease the projections that are bouncing around in your head, taking you away from what you truly enjoy. And you're going to breathe easily. So with that, these are using self-reflection to build your best. Thank you for listening. Andrew, I'm curious, when I ask you a question for what are you grateful, what comes to mind?
I'm grateful for my amazing podcast co-host here. That is one person that I'm grateful for. In addition to that, we are recording a day before the Day of Mothers, and it would be a shame if I didn't give a shout out to my mom. So, of course, I'm grateful for my mother. She is an amazing woman taking care of me. And then, I'm grateful for the roof I have over my head, the opportunity I get to work with clients and make an impact in their lives. I'm grateful for the fact I live in the finest city in America, San Diego, California. There's so much to be grateful for. How about you, Gunnar? You have anything to name off there?
Very, very nice. Thank you, Andrew. I am grateful today for the ability to move my body and train towards a specific goal. I realize that's a privilege that not everyone can have. And I realize that's something I've worked towards for my entire cognitive life. There are some unconscious years there, I'm sure. However, I've always enjoyed moving my body, and now get to do that as a profession is I'm extremely grateful for. Um, to build on this idea of 5 seconds of mindfulness, I encourage everyone that listens to this to pause right now for 5 seconds and ask yourself, for what are you grateful? And you will have a better day. So, with that, we appreciate you listening into using reflection to build your best self. Andrew, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at andrew.swayze. It's a great place to reach out to me. How about you, Gunnar?
You can find me on Instagram as well at Gunnar Regan, and my coaching page at Animus Coach. If you're listening to this, please like and subscribe. If you found this useful, share with your friends, because if you're listening to this, you're most likely surrounding your people that think similarly and would benefit from this talk. So again, we thank you from the bottom and the top of our hearts, because it's a holistic view. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the As Above, So Below podcast. Peace.
Peace.